Khalifa, how you feel about the multiple choice today?
Honestly, I didn't get to do 4 of the questions.
So you didn't finish?
No, but like what I did is I start from the back and come up.
No, 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 no. Listen, let me deal with that one time. Form 4 just bear with me a little bit, right? I come into all you know. Form 5s in particular, and Form 4s coming up. That is a strategy that people espouse, right? The only people for whom that strategy even begins to make sense are the people for whom it doesn't really matter which question they do first and which order they do it in. In other words, the people who have a total command of the subject matter at hand. Right? So I've given you all this as strategy. Do not do in June what Khalifa just did there. Don't make that mistake at all. And let me explain why. The exam is structured in a particular way. Right? If you notice, you'll notice on the mark sheets that I will send for you later. I have been able to look at the exam and you notice that I divide it into 3 groups of 20 questions. I always like to visualize the questions as 20 and 20 and 20. What happens, remember that you have 60 questions. See, Khalifa, is a good thing you come today, even though I know you're tired, right? 60 questions to do in 90 minutes. Akin, pay attention, right? Because I have your multiple choice to correct as well. 60 questions to do in 90 minutes, which means that you have 90 seconds for each question. Listen to this part carefully, Form 5. There are questions in there that will take you 10 seconds to do. There are questions in there that will take you maybe 30 seconds. You know the work and it's easy, so you think, bram, and you get the answer. You might get a question or two that you could do in 5 seconds. Right? They give you a triangle, 5, 12, 13. They put the angle in the corner and they ask to say cosine theta is equal to. Bam, bam, bam. If you know your tricks, you could knock that off in 10 seconds. Right? A lot of those questions tend to be early on in the paper. Especially some of the early topics. The questions that most people will get and most people will get correct would be in your first 20. Most people, they get the highest mark in the first 20 questions. And then the second 20 is usually good if you have a decentish command of the thing. The last 20, yeah, that is what tends to separate the sheep from the goats, as we like to say. I don't know if any of you all ever heard that saying, but that is something we just say in our local language. Liana here? No, I see Liana, right? Do not start from the back, because those are usually the questions that you will need more than 90 seconds for. Right? So in other words, when you look up the easy questions, when you knock off the questions, the 5 seconds and the 10 seconds and the 15 seconds, you buy time for the questions where you'll need 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes. Right? We don't want to end up where Khalifa was today, where you start by doing the 2-minute questions and the 2.5-minute questions, and then you find yourself running out of time when the exam finishes. All right? So Khalifa, I don't even want to hear you telling me that you go in the exam in June and start from the back. If that is what the people in school doing, leave them with that. You do it today and you pay the price. Don't make that mistake again. Right? And I'm not saying that as a buff, I'm saying that as strategy, because a lot of these things people don't be aware of. They just say, well, I have a multiple choice. And they go in class and hear everybody saying, yeah, we start from the back. Sometimes the teacher in school might tell you to start from the back. But if you understand the exam, you'll know why that don't make sense. Because the questions are the back. The last 20 questions, maybe even the last 10. A lot of those questions are the questions where you need a little more time than the average of 90 seconds. And that is when you would need the extra time that you would have bought for yourself by knocking off the 10-second questions and the 15-second questions and the 30-second questions. If you do a question in 30 seconds, you buy a minute. You have a whole minute to spare. If you do 3 questions in 30 seconds, you have 3 extra minutes that you could then apply to the questions later down in the paper. You making sense, Khalifa?
Yes, sir.
Right. The mathsing. So do not. I don't care what your teacher in school say. I don't care what your classmates in school say. Right? You see, if I go into do the multiple choice now, I could start from the back. Because it really don't matter. I could solve the hard questions in almost the same amount of time as I could solve the easy questions. But that's me. I wouldn't recommend that for all you. Because all you're still working with it. All you're still developing a command of the thing. Don't do that at all, at all, at all. Basic strategy. These are the little things that I keep talking to you all about all the time. Right? These are the little things. Akin, right? Me and your mommy had that conversation. So, yeah. I hope you're listening. You now come, but you're getting it straight one time. I want to correct your paper, you with a sense of what's going on. Right? Do not, yeah, somebody else saying something? Or just responding? Alright. Do not start from the back. A lot of people might be doing it. It might sound good. But the fact that a lot of people doing it and the fact that it sounds good doesn't mean that it's good. And plenty things in life like that. Right? So I take my time and I pour out my heart to all you to explain why it does not make sense starting the multiple choice from the back. Start from the front. Do the easy questions that I could do. Knock them off fast. And you know the thing? Apart from just saving time, when you knock off the easy questions, you build confidence. You work through the first 20 questions and you realize, all right, you get a little confidence going. And working at number 56 or 57 or 58 or 52 or 49. Working one of those questions in a state of mind where you're confident is a whole order of magnitude removed from you start with number 60 and you go down. And you get a hard question in number 55. And you now start. And you're fighting up with that number 55 already. When you could have knocked off the early questions. So that by the time you reach 55, you're rolling, man. Right? And you realize the clock, you're watching the clock and you realize, all right, I have some time in the kitty here. I have some time in the bank. I could take my time and figure out the answer. Instead of putting yourself in a position where you have to be hurrying and scurrying. Don't go down that road at all. You hear how much time I'm spending to talk about this. Right? If all you go in June and all you do that, don't even tell me. Don't even tell me. I don't want to hear it. Right? Because I'm showing all your plain and simple common sense. If all you choose to go and do what they're doing in school because of numbers, you have a big class and you're in school and the teacher in school says start from the high, all you go ahead. All you go ahead. This is a perfect opportunity for you all to practice. Sometimes in life, 10,000 people going down the road. And you know that the correct way to go is so. What are you going to do? Go down the road with them? Even though you know they're going down the wrong direction. No, you don't live life like that. It might be a little lonely sometimes. but you don't follow the crowd when the crowd going in the wrong place. So I take my time and I break it down and I explain it. What all you do with that is up to all you. But don't even tell me if all you go in the exam to start from the back. Don't do that, don't do that. Right, I'm glad that we're having this conversation, because even though everything I said with respect to time is the same thing I've been always saying, I never really had the opportunity to directly discuss that whole issue of starting from the back. Right? Every now and then it will come up. You will hear people saying that. Teachers might say that in class and all that. Right? And the thing is, some people, because they do 55 past papers, they tell themselves they could start anyhow. We could start from the back because we do 55 past papers, so we know the questions and we know the answers. Yeah, but sometimes they change the order of the answers. Sometimes they bring a similar question, and of course it will have new questions. So you always have a responsibility to look at the question and think about the question, and that does take time. Thinking takes time. Don't feel that because you're doing past papers you're just running like a robot and give the answers. Treat the multiple choice exam with more respect than that. That exam needs to be respected. Don't play with that. That's 1/3 of your grade. So you should not ever be in a position where you can't finish a multiple choice. Even if coming down to the end you realize, all right, I don't know what is the matrix for rotation, then you at least in a position to knock something around in your head and make a guess. Right? But don't put yourself in the position where you had to deal with a matrix transformation within the first 5 or 10 minutes of the exam. That is foolishness if you ask me. I take my time and I explain why it is foolishness. It's up to all you to make all your choice now. Right? So Khalifa, don't go and make that mistake again. Eh? Christian, same to you. All the other Form 5s, same story. You have to be smart in this thing, man. You have to be smart in this thing. Right? So Akin, I hope I pronounce the name properly. Right? You come and get it live. Akin now come and you get it full bass. Boom. Right? Kalia, same story. Only now come, only even get a chance to warm up. Only even get a chance to that's the nature of the game. If you jump in the deep section of the river when the water flowing, you just have to go with the flow. Right? So we deal with that. Right? We will continue doing more multiple choice papers. And as we do the multiple choice, focus on your timing, Khalifa. Make sure that you could finish. And practice starting from the beginning and going to the end. Forget that starting from the end foolishness. Start from the beginning, work your way through the paper, and you will see you could finish. You might even finish with time to double check and all kind of thing. And it's the same thing for paper 2. Don't start from the back in a paper 2. That is madness. Right? Is marks we're looking for here. Right? You will leave out the first 2 questions to go and do a number 12. A number 10, sorry. Or a number 9. Or number 8. No, you knock off the easy questions first. You run through section 1. And then you use the remaining time to fight up with section 2 to the extent that you have to fight up. Don't start fighting up. And then now, you have 10 more minutes and you're rushing to do the first 2 questions. No, that will make no sense. The first 2 questions is 18 marks. 1 question in section 2 is 12 marks. So tell me how it makes sense fighting for 12 marks when you could lock down 18 marks to start and then move on with the rest of the paper. Strategy again. From first, don't mind talking plenty. Right? But all of this is part of how we conduct ourselves if we're trying to pass the people exam. There are silly mistakes that a lot of people make simply because they don't know better. I don't want anybody in my orbit to ever have that problem. Right? I will tell you what the situation is. It's up to all you to go along with what I say.